Hi, this is Nathan. Welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod.
Oh, hi there. I'm Dylan James Weaver, but you can call me Dylan. We were just getting ready for a time of humor, analysis, and discovery. You care to join us? Because you never know what'll happen when you listen to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. Hello and welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. I'm Dylan Weaver.
Can we do that again? I just bumped the mic.
Nope, we have to leave this in, Andrew.
Oh, and I'm Andrew Sabo, bumping the mics.
Hello and welcome to the Wad Fam Chalk Pod. I'm Dylan Weaver.
And I'm Andrew Sabo.
And we are here this week to talk about episode 254 of Adventures in Odyssey. It's Truth, Trivia, and Trina.
Oh, it's time! Oh, there's jubilation, there's feasting and dancing. David is in his loincloth. This is a banger of an episode. I am so excited to talk about it with you, Dylan.
Yeah,
if you hate it, I'm really sad.
So this is we're finally doing it. We're embarking on our journey through Eugene.
Yeah,
apparently.
Eugene, Katrina, interpersonal relationships.
Eugene, Katrina, but also the search for wit. Like we've got a whole thing planned out here, folks, and it's gonna be a fun adventure.
Yeah, no,
I look forward to it.
Oh yeah, no, This might be our magnum opus as far as arcs are concerned.
I mean, yeah, like I feel like it's going to be interesting. It intertwines with so many things we've done. There are so many episodes we've covered already that we could otherwise cover in this, but we won't be. It's going to be an interesting ride.
Yeah, no, I'm incredibly excited, and I couldn't be more happy to kick it off with this episode.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite Odyssey episode. Wow. Like honestly, it's this or Snow Day, and I don't know which one wins.
Oh man. So yeah, Andrew, I had not heard this episode before today.
Wait, what?
100%.
Not at all.
Not to the best of my recollection.
No, I believe
not
it.
at all.
Okay. So, do you think that the 96% rating it was received?
Andrew, we'll save my thoughts for later.
Okay.
Come on. You can't get that out of me right off the top.
That's
what do you
true.
think this is? The Andrew Sabo podcast?
Overzealous as always.
But yeah, so this will be, I think, one of the things that'll be fun about doing these episodes is I've got some blind spots.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be talking about some of them because yeah, this was just, for whatever reason, not one that I grabbed onto, and I think that's true of a lot of the early Eugene and Katrina stuff.
Okay, interesting.
So we're gonna have a fun time.
Now I'm scared.
This episode was written and directed by Paul McCusker.
Oh, boy.
And originally aired January 8th of 1994, which is nearly 30 years from when this episode that you guys are currently listening to is airing.
Wow.
Because, yeah.
Woof.
Yep.
I am old. This is old. It's all old.
Wow. Yes. Yeah, Andrew, you're so old.
I feel older every day.
Yeah, well, that's probably healthy. This episode has such a stripped down cast. It's very emblematic of a Odyssey episode with no kids. I feel like
Very
it's a good version of that.
Yeah.
We've got Bart Rathbone, we've got Connie, we've got Eugene, we've got John Avery Whitaker.
A little bit, barely.
Yeah, I mean, right, but they're all there, and then we have our newcomer, Katrina Shanks. Yeah.
Katrina. Oh my lord. So this is her first episode on the show, correct?
It is her first episode on the show.
And you had never heard it.
I had never heard it.
Wow.
In my recollection of Odyssey, her and Eugene are just like I know them as a couple. I don't
That's
really
fair.
know them as individuals.
No, this album was really big for that because there was a lot of Eugene and Katrina stuff going on.
Well, you're right. This was a big. When we've previously talked about, this is off of album 21, which is Passport to Adventure. We've talked about it before because Andrew owned it. It's got Aloha Oi on it.
Yep. Dylan's favorite episode.
Yeah, true. And I said it was album 21, but it is album 19 because I'm dumb.
There you go.
But we had to get that on air. Here's my hot take, Andrew. I think this episode's better than all 3 parts of Aloha Oi.
That's fair. I can accept that. I agree. Upon re-listen, for the sake of this podcast, I agree.
I was joking about that being a hot take. I famously did not like. But Aloha Oi, right. Additional episodes that I was not particularly familiar with.
Yeah.
I think this album is just a blind spot for me. Maybe it wasn't at the church library. Maybe
it was my fault that it wasn't at the church library.
maybe it was just one of those that didn't look interesting to me. Like I did do a lot of like judge a book by its cover Odyssey. Listen to the same albums over and over again
for sure,
because those are the Novacom ones
and the ones that you like, and and there were always experiences as a kid where you listen to an Odyssey episode and you're like, oh, this is not as much fun as the one that I really liked or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I would say
Sure.
like as a kid there was a certain amount of discretion between like how much you liked an album.
Sure. So yeah. What else do we want to hit off the top here, Andrew? I feel like we're covered.
Yeah. I mean, does this episode have a promo, Dylan?
It does have a promo. You want to do that?
I would love it if you would roll it.
It's hot competition on the next Adventure in Odyssey. A little bickering between Connie and Eugene, who else, becomes a little more serious when they challenge each other in a trivia contest sponsored by Bart Rathbone. It's a battle of egos until Eugene is distracted by an unusual visitor to Odyssey. Learn who wins what on the next exciting edition of Adventures in Odyssey.
I love the whip cracking sound that they
Yeah.
used.
Great.
Excellent
A+
percussion.
promo. However, an unusual visitor to Odyssey? Is that how you would describe Katrina Shanks?
Well, in her first episode, I suppose.
She's not a visitor. She's like
No,
enrolled in
no.
college
Yes,
there.
yeah, no.
She's not unusual.
No, not unusual. No, those are two adjectives that are...
I guess she's
ineffective.
unusual in that she's the only person who's ever showed interest in Eugene.
Yes, she is unusual in that regard, unfortunately. She's also unusual in that she is a woman portrayed with exceptional intelligence.
Yeah.
So that is also deviating from Odyssey's norms.
So yeah, Andrew, drive the car. How would you like to begin the actual discussion here?
I would like to begin this by prefacing saying, one, not only is this one of my favorite episodes of Odyssey, just because it's fun, I like trivia, I love it, but I made friends of the pod, Alyssa Brenner and Nathan Haverstick, listen to this episode in a car ride yesterday. We were road tripping. So they got to experience me quoting probably 70 to 80% of the episode while driving.
Oh, man. And how did that go over, Andrew?
I had a great time.
Are they still your friends?
They're both invited to come over tonight. Fingers crossed if either of them will show up. I'm I'm thinking Alyssa will be there, but that's only because that's where she lives.
Here's my question. Do you think Nathan will still be willing to do the intro and outro after listening to it?
I think he will. He laughed. He ha-ha'd a bit. There were some moments.
He ha-ha'd and he-he'd?
And he-he'd. Maybe even a ho-ho-ho. He was feeling very festive. But they both laughed at least once during the episode, not related to me quoting the words as they were happening.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was something. I haven't listened to this episode in a very, very long time, so I was astonished by how much of it I still remembered. Like the whole "Oh Ms. Kendall," that whole cadence at the beginning, in my brain, just knew every single beat of that scene, which is an excellent jumping on point because that is the beginning of this episode. It's basically Connie and Eugene getting into a spat at wit's end about Eugene thinking that he's smarter than Connie feeling condescension, rightfully so, because Eugene is kind of, a prideful, intelligent person.
Yeah, yes, which I think this episode examines well. This is one of the first times I feel like because they are constantly bickering. They've got that sibling cat and dog thing going, but this is the first time I've really felt like, they have like teeth are out.
Yes,
this is actually.
Yeah. I think the expression is claws are out.
Sure, claws are out.
Yeah,
the banter has teeth.
The banter has teeth.
I believe I mixed the two of those together into
okay, I got
teeth
you.
Are out.
The teeth are out.
The teeth are out.
The knives are out. The teeth are out. Everything's out. Yeah, no, I agree though. It isn't. It's a lot. Yeah, I would say that there's a lot more emphasis paid to the anger between them, like where they genuinely seem to dislike each other in this episode at certain points, right. Which maybe that's more common in this era than I recall, but I do agree that it's strange, especially coming from the place that we have, like if you were to take this, cut it, and then throw it in modern day Odyssey, they would lose their minds. Like even if you replace Stoitka's wit, like it would I don't know. I don't feel like Odyssey would have Eugene and Connie fighting like this anymore.
Yeah, they're immature at this point and whatever. Yeah. Like, and I don't. It's just it's funny where it's like Makosuke's really pushing to the forefront this idea of the conflict between them in a way where it just kind of seems like background noise normally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think it's done pretty well where we kind of get this idea fleshed out where it's like, right, Eugene's always like, patronizing towards everyone, but this is like
Connie's around
but Connie,
all the
but
time.
right, Connie's constantly had to put up with this and she's had enough, and like to her it feels like he doesn't respect her intelligence because
he doesn't respect her intelligence.
Indeed. And so he does his chuckle, "Oh, Ms. Kendall," over and over.
In high school, somebody that I was in a romantic relationship with a girl who got upset at me because sometimes I would say, "Oh, hun." Like,
yeah, no, that's a good reason to be upset.
Well,
I take the side of your high school girlfriend.
I mean, it was loving. At least I tried. Like, I don't think I was like, "Oh, hun." Maybe that's a little. That is condescending. This is Andrew owns his sin hours. I'm sliding the grate. I can't see Dylan's face anymore. Father, forgive me, for I have sinned. I have said a condescending hun too many times.
Oh, hun.
I have not loved my neighbor as myself. I have not loved you with my whole heart.
So they're having this debate, and Connie just is like, "You don't actually think I'm smart. Like, I know stuff too, and you're always talking down to me and whatever." And
you're arguing about who's got more smarts? Bart Rathbun.
In walks Bart Rathbun. And he has come to announce that he is going to host a game show that will be on Channel 3. He says he's always fancied himself a game show host, and fair.
Should.
Honestly.
If I was Bart, I would, that would be a regular occurrence of a daydream, I think, for me.
Yep. And I totally guessed incorrectly here, and I'm going to own it. I put down on my notes, great, all of the trivia is going to be inaccurate because it's Bart. That's got to be the bit for this episode, right?
Oh,
and it was not.
No.
Which is so weird. Here's the deal. And maybe we will come into this in future episodes. I don't know. But Bart is hosting a game show where the trivia is, aside from that one flaw about the Taj Mahal, maybe, is correct.
Yeah.
and the people competing actually win $1,000?
Yeah, no, it does seem awfully legit to never come back again. They'll say that much.
You didn't have to spoil it for me, Andrew. I was really holding out for, when they got into the Bart Rathbone, like, not actually, the check bounces, and then Katrina's got to, like, go work at Wit's End to get money or whatever. I don't know how this is going to work, but...
I can't say that I remember perfectly either, but I do know that there is not another episode that features this. Yeah. Although it is referenced in multiple, I think, like in a later album, like it's referenced that they were on the game show.
Sure. No, I mean, it's their meet cute. Well, it's not their meet cute, but it's their, it's the continuation. But it's just, it's such a weird use of Bart, where it's like, I don't entirely get why he's here, other than, like, Walker Evanson's doing a great job. But I'm like, why is this the trivia show that they got onto? Like, it doesn't have Bart energy.
What do you mean it doesn't have Bart energy?
Like, Walker Edmonston as Bart is doing a great job hosting this show.
Yeah.
But, like, it
doesn't feel like Bart to pull off a show.
It's too well constructed.
I didn't get... Okay.
There's a lot... Like, all of the trivia is good and accurate, and he's not, like, goofing over it.
That's fair.
And then the person who wins gets the $1,000. And maybe he got Wit to operate the camera off, the camera, because the other guy's got a dentist appointment. And maybe, like, there's a couple Electric Palace plugs, but, like, not many.
Well, and there's, like, 12 folding chairs for an audience. Like, there's, there are some bits.
Yeah, but, like, barely.
That's fair. And I can see
it doesn't seem quite off the rails enough for what I've come to expect from Bart. Like, you compare this to so many other Electric Palace sponsored things, and this one, like, seems actually kind of legit.
Functional? Yeah. Is this better than your actual business?
Right. Oh, I think so. And I'm like, dude, no way is he making $1,000 back.
No, yeah. And I think that might be the problem that they ran into with this.
So that's why he never did it again.
Yeah. The show never came back because they realized that Bart could not. They can't maintain Bart as he is and have him be successful. That's interesting.
So I was my guess was incorrect. The trivia is all good.
Yeah, well, and it's from a book, so it's not like it's coming from Bart's head. Like he does make it pretty clear that it's just like kind of a Trivial Pursuit type situation.
Sure. Wow, that was very Rathbone of you to say situation.
Thank you. And one of the many ways that his personality has become morphed with my own. In so many bad ways.
Yeah, bad role model.
Bart Rathbone.
I think Odyssey writers would genuinely be upset if they knew that you had been shaped by Bart Rathbone and not, John Avery Whitaker.
I definitely think that more of my sense of humor comes from Bart than anything else. Between Bart and Wooten.
And Bernard.
Can't ignore Bernard. So Connie and Eugene obviously both being in the throes of this argument
about smartness.
Sign up to be on Truth and Trivia.
Yep, they're the first 2 of 3 contestants, which is seed planted, and the Eugene is able to name 2 international birds that bark like a dog. And Connie is asked a movie trivia question about a Frank Capra movie that won 5 Oscars. And
did you know it?
I did not.
Okay, there you go.
Did
you look it up to fact check it?
I did not. No, okay. I also did not. But, I was like, yeah, good work, Connie. Like, Connie knows this. I love that she knows
arts and culture and stuff. Yeah.
Especially from a time before she was alive. Yeah. I
love that she's a little bit of a cinema snob, maybe.
Yeah. My guess at the answer was It's a Wonderful Life, which it was not. No. But that is Frank Capra directed that. And that feels like oh, of course,
Very.
Odyssey's gonna do. I was like, I don't know that It's a Wonderful Life won 5 Oscars, but sure,
It could have.
Like, it absolutely could have, and it would have been so Odyssey to do that reference. But instead, they went with a different Capra movie, which is It Happened One Night. And listener, let me let you in on, I've never found Connie as attractive in the audio show as when she got movie trivia correct.
And you still didn't like this episode.
Is that the vibe you're getting, Andrew?
That you didn't enjoy it? Yeah.
Trying to keep you on your toes, just making sure.
Yeah, no, that is my understanding, is that you didn't, that it didn't, I mean, it's not, I'm going to say
we're going to keep covering the episode, Andrew.
Yep, we're going to keep going.
But yeah, Eugene believes that movie trivia is useless.
Yes.
So I'm no longer friends with Eugene,
Nope,
and I'm now
can't be.
dating Connie.
Yep. And I am combing Bart's hair, I think. With all the tension.
And yeah, and then Eugene, right, and this episode just keeps giving me reasons to not be pro Eugene, because he then like slams Connie and is like, are you sure you want to do this? I'm just going to embarrass you, this whole thing. And I was like, yeah, that's going to be
a no for me, dog.
Yeah, like, come on, buddy, be nice.
Yeah.
I like, you respect women, Eugene.
Please.
And then I wrote in my notes, oh, they're 2 out of the 3 contestants. The other one is going to be Katrina, and that's how they're going to meet. I was almost right.
You were very close to being correct, actually.
Yeah. Also, here's the thing. So
Isn't it better, though, that they didn't meet on the game show?
Yeah.
I think it is.
I'm not saying that my rewrites are better. I'm just trying to guess because I hadn't heard this one. Connie then has a conversation with Whit in which he defends Eugene and is like, no, Eugene doesn't think you're dumb. And I'm like,
Eugene doesn't think you're stupid.
What are you doing here, Whit? What's happening?
No, yeah, you're defending this person being disrespectful, which feels bad, and it is the wrong take. Like,
I also, like,
at the very least, you should be condescending to both of them and say that you're both acting like children, be adults, respect that you both have different strengths, and move on with your life.
I don't want to dunk on the dead, but Hal Smith's line readings are bad in this episode.
No, they are. It feels like he's barely there.
Yeah, and I don't know what I don't know if it's direction, if it's editing, if it's his line. Like, I don't know where the problem lies, but everyone else feels like they are occupying the same space,
and then there's
he
Whit.
Doesn't. He doesn't sound like he is responding to people. He sounds like he is just saying words.
Yep.
And it's really weird.
Yeah.
Because I've always been more of a Hurlinger guy, but I normally really enjoy Hal Smith. And this episode just struck me as, this is really weird. Like, why was he in a different room? And it's really noticeable in this scene. It's less noticeable in the latter scene.
Because he's literally in a different area in the show, so, like, it kind of makes sense. Like, if he's in the booth during the game show, and he comes out and kind of sounds like he's been
that one sounds a little bit more like they're talking to each other. But in this scenes, like, he and Katie Lee were not, like, we're clearly not standing in a room speaking with each other, which is fine. The show does that all the time. Like, that's not how, like, audio recording has to function, but it just really stood out here.
Yeah, no, so one of the pieces of trivia from this episode that I didn't know was that this is Hal Smith and Walker Edmonston's last episode together. Before
on a technicality.
Yeah.
It's the last episode where they share a scene together.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if, at this point, maybe there's something else going on with Hal Smith's health.
Correct. That's what I always got the impression that he passed pretty suddenly. That it was very, like, unexpected and a shock. But maybe there were additional health problems and they're working to accommodate him during this time, or he's just not fully in it, or McCusker just did poor direction.
Probably that one.
like just didn't get the line readings out of him that he should have, or schedules didn't work out and they had to just like make something work. Like I don't know who is. I don't want to point fingers and say someone's at fault. I just think it's really odd.
It is weird
because it's a problem that Odyssey doesn't typically have, and it's not a problem I associate with Hal Smith, and so it's just really weird.
Well, and I will say that, like, of the probably hundreds of times that I've listened to this episode before for this podcast, I never noticed it. And then writing notes, listening to it, I was like, yeah, no, he sounds canned. Like, he sounds entirely separate from everything that's going on, especially in comparison to Walker Edmonston and Katie Lee and Will Ryan that are really jiving with each other in the studio, and you get that back and forth energy, and then Whit comes in like a freaking, underbaked potato, and it's just solid and bland and actually bad.
Yeah. So we then Eugene goes to the library at Campbell University, and he runs into Katrina.
Oh, as a child, this was the dream.
I
fall in love with a librarian.
Might still be the dream.
Alyssa likes books.
I'm single. So the thing here, I love how long they wait to introduce her. They have an entire conversation, or they have a good chunk of a conversation that is just like him trying to get information.
Yeah.
And it plays like if they had been, like if this was just a day player who they were getting to play the generic librarian.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Like, they don't immediately pounce on these people are starstruck with each other, like they've got hearts on their eyes.
No, it's so
like,
subtle.
They don't immediately underline, oh, this is Katrina, she's in the title, this is gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
They just like let the two of them have a human conversation, and if you didn't realize that was Katrina, she could never show up. Like, you could be like, oh yeah, that person's never showing up again. And then, like, as their conversation goes on, she introduces herself, she brings up that she's heard of him, and you're like, oh, okay, we're starting to get like a little rapport here.
Yeah.
And then like she says that she's heard of him because he's in the computer science program. He's like, are you doing computer science? She's like, no, I'm getting a degree in English, but I have an interest in computer science, which...
Hot.
Yep. And then she reveals that she transferred from a school in Chicago.
Yeah.
Which... maybe this will be explored in future episodes. Maybe the $1,000 later was all we needed here, but wild to be transferring from a school in Chicago to
a community college and needing money.
Right. Also, I know your parents. Like, I have the thing of like, I'm like, Armitage Shanks is not a man with little money.
No, yeah.
So I'm curious as to what the circumstances that brought her here are. Will we know? Don't tell me, Andrew.
Lips are sealed. I totally remember.
And then she brings up that her friends call her Trina, a thing that I have never heard, and I have listened to a lot of Katrina episodes.
Yeah, no, they never... No, that's pretty much dropped after this episode.
And maybe that's a hey, I'm in a new city, I'm gonna reinvent myself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna become like proper adult. I don't use a last name, or I don't use a nickname rather. Though maybe she doesn't use a last name. That's her prerogative. The other piece to that though is calling someone named Katrina Trina a thing? Or was that invented for the show?
I'd never heard it. It's always Cat.
Right. I've heard it go the other way. I've never heard it go to Trina. Like, I could be here for it, but
I think the Cat's just a better nickname. Not to say that Trina's bad, or that I couldn't, or somebody that was called themselves Katrina or Trina, that I wouldn't adhere to such things. But no, I don't think that I have any evidence in the wild of somebody going by Trina.
Yeah.
Especially as a short for Katrina.
But who knows? The 90s were a different time.
It was, as we stated, like almost 30 years ago. So, I'm not 30. Are you?
She then goes on to say, like, they go over to like the pop culture section because that's where Eugene's going to do his research for trivia, and Katrina's like, oh, this library doesn't have as much as the place where, in Chicago. And for instance, we don't have this specific book by this author I really like, and Eugene's like, oh, he's like one of my favorite authors. And she's like, oh, well, he was a guest lecturer. I have a signed book from him. Like, it's super cool. And they both say indeed, which is lovely. And then Eugene just goes for it and asks her out.
Yeah, no.
So much respect.
No, yeah. Well,
if only I could be so bold.
Well, and I would love to just take one step back and talk about the pacing and the voice acting for that conversation. It's so good.
Yeah, they have great chemistry. It really works.
The pacing is perfect. Like, you can hear them getting like, the Foley work is fantastic. You can feel them getting slightly and increasingly more flustered with each other's presence as it goes on, and then it builds to that kind of awkward silence where you're like, we both like this more than we expected to.
Yeah.
Indeed. I would love to see your book sometime, and then double fists up for Eugene for shooting his shot like a champion.
Yeah. And he's like, I could bring it,
we could meet for a meal.
Right.
Or we could discuss it over a meal sometime.
Yeah.
Which is like such a, like.
You did great, Eugene.
You did a great, way to not make it overly romantic or overly forward. It's very clearly about the common interest.
You found an inn.
Yep.
But also, that is a date.
Yeah. No,
that's
a date.
Not like, oh yeah, I'll see you around. Maybe we could do something with some of my friends, or like any of the horrible BS ways that I try and interact with women. So yeah, it is. Yeah, it's lovely.
Way to go,
big
Eugene.
Fan.
He shoots the shot.
Yeah,
it's
good.
He drains it. It's
and right, in contrast to the way we just talked about the Hal Smith thing, they could not be better in this scene together.
So good.
I assume they're in the room, but maybe not. I mean, they're both professionals, but but regardless, the direction's working, the chemistry's there. Like, it is truly something.
Yeah.
They really make it work. It's lovely. Big fan.
So then Eugene leaves and then goes back to Wits End, right?
Yeah, so it's like, it's kind of implied like next day at Wits End.
Yeah.
Because Connie's talking about like how she's studying for the trivia. She's going to focus on like people rather than on math and science, because she's like, I'm not going to get those regardless, but I think I actually have a shot if I focus it on people.
Love that strategy.
So she goes to do it, and Wit's like, wow, Connie, you're really taking this seriously. Why would you do that? It's just whatever.
Shut up, Wit.
Yeah, yeah. His it's not a good Wit episode.
No, it's a really bad Wit episode.
It's just like, why is it everyone versus Connie?
Except for when he compliments everybody once the show actually begins. That's his only Oh, okay, there you go.
Sure,
not a terrible person.
But then Eugene comes in, and this scene's fun. Of he can't finish a sentence. He's trying to explain why he wants to leave early.
Well, first he's ducking to see if Connie's there.
Right.
And he's like, is Miss Kendall gone?
Yep.
And it's like, yeah.
Because Connie, whereas Wit is obtuse, Connie would have immediately figured out what the game was here with Eugene.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then, so like you said, they have that discussion about why he needs to leave work early to meet somebody. And
it's the thing that I am so guilty of, which is he could just say, hey, Wit, I've got something came up. Can I leave work early? And Wit would have been like, yes. But instead, he feels the need to justify it, but he's uncomfortable with the justification. And so he's like tripping over his words. He's super flustered. It's a combination of like him like not wanting to make this out to be more than it is to Wit, but also to himself, like not get your hopes up, but also like feeling the need to justify why he's leaving and to be like, oh, it's with a girl, but not necessarily for those reasons. You know, I'm borrowing a book. Like, it's just like, oh, it's so good. And he goes from like starting and stopping sentences to just run-ons, and Wit's like, can you finish a sentence? And then he's like, can you please use punctuation? It's lovely.
It's a really good, like, I would say very well written, very well performed. Like, it's a great scene where you get to see kind of Eugene in a very unique light, because you don't see Diddy Eugene much like this, especially not romantically.
Right? Yeah. This is the first time there has been any romantic interest for Eugene in Odyssey. And tellingly, it's also the last.
The last.
Like, good for you, Eugene. You struck gold the first time you went out. I know some people who have done it, so props to you. But come a long way from girls throwing mud on you and champ the camp. So then when Eugene leaves the scene, Wit is so dismissive of the idea that Eugene and a girl.
Something good might come out of this after all. Is that what he says?
Yeah, but first he's like, Eugene and a girl?
No,
it couldn't be.
Oh my gosh. That's burned in my brain. Yeah. Eugene and a girl.
But also, right. Also, though, the frustrating, and this is probably more of a my own personal baggage thing, but
this is a safe space.
The annoyance I feel of Wit immediately, like, I understand Eugene was flustered, but at the end of the day, he did just suggest that he was leaving early to meet a friend who was a woman, and Wit is immediately like, oh, are they gonna date? This is clearly romantic. And that is my own big pet peeve.
Well, I don't think that it's wrong to inquire potential romantic interests, but I think to assume that both parties are equally as romantically inclined, and that is the understanding going into the event, is very, very, overzealous and unwarranted.
Yeah, I'm gonna push back and just be like, I feel even more. I feel strongly. It's just like, don't.
Yeah,
unless the person has communicated to you that there are romantic intentions on either side, don't make that assumption.
That's fair.
Like, I
typically
me.
just ask.
It's so,
like,
but I feel like
you eyebrows.
Right, but I feel like that with like adults in a church context is so common.
It's the worst.
And I say this as someone who has a lot of friends who are women, and many of them have been on the show
and go to church with you.
Indeed. But like just that default assumption of, oh, guy and girl are spending time together, they must be in love.
They're gonna get married.
It just bums me out.
No, it does a horrible disservice by mitigating the wonders of platonic opposite gender relationships in friendship form. Like, purely platonic, just, I don't know. I love Alyssa, but there are times when I have questions about Alyssa that I don't feel like I can ask her, so it's helpful to have a sister or a roommate or a friend that I know can answer such things. Like, would she like this style or this style more? I don't know. You know, it can be anything. Like, I feel...
We're coming out of the gate hot to say we like friends. Friends are good.
So strong for friends. Platonic female friendships. Yeah, I would say just even platonic opposite gender friendships are huge. Like, I feel like for girls, if they grow up having like really strong platonic guy friendships, like that can be really helpful for them. And I know for me personally, like the first friend that I had was like a girl. She was really like my neighbor, and like we played pretty much every day, and that was a big part of my development. So yeah, pro friend on the Wad Fam Chalk Pod.
Yep. Anyways, so yeah, so that's mostly my own baggage, but I do hate that Whit immediately jumps to that idea, despite him being right.
He's right.
It is annoying.
Yeah, no. And so, is this when we cut to the game show itself?
No, sir. We have
no,
the best scene of the episode.
Yes. In the what were they, in the park?
They are walking around the college campus. And Eugene is just spouting off and pointing at all these things and giving trivia facts. And Katrina keeps going, yes, I know, or no, I don't care.
Yeah.
Are like kind of her two responses to everything she says. And then she just like figures him out in a second and is like, you know, you don't need to impress me. I like you without needing to know everything you've ever learned. And Eugene's like, oh, I kind of feel like I'm a nobody without this, not like without my knowledge. Like I've never considered that someone would like me outside of that.
Yeah.
And
outside of my utility.
And she's like, oh, well, I do.
Yeah. Well, and she says like, really well, I think she says, I think that if you asked your friends that they would love you in spite of everything you know, not because of it.
Yes.
Which is just really, really wonderful. And I think that it just what it does for Eugene as a character within the show, what it does for Katrina as like, you know, in this episode introduction, that she is basically just cutting straight through his armor.
Right.
And
she figured him out immediately.
She just Ted Lasso'd his like it was just cut straight to the insecurity, and Eugene responds really well. Like, not to say that he's perfect in this episode, because he's not. He has his moments, but he's genuinely trying his best, and he's like, wow, I genuinely, you know, just hadn't considered that could be a thing. And yeah, just as far as like identity formation is concerned and how you view yourself, I feel like if that is challenged as strongly as Katrina did in that way, like I feel like Katrina is the only person that could have said that directly to him and gotten that response from him.
Right.
Which was like, it was the best of possible inputs and the best of possible outputs.
Yeah, because you have someone who he is like getting to know. He doesn't have any like baggage with her.
Yeah.
But he also is very much trying to impress her.
Exactly.
And so she can cut right to the chase, and he doesn't have like, he's still like, he kind of forces him to be vulnerable because he's like, oh, that's how I'm going to like keep this thing alive.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like, he can't just dismiss it based off of his history with the person or whatever. Like it is just like, I don't know. I've had that experience of like, this is a new person. And because of that, this hit more than the person who I talk to every day for years.
Yeah. No, that's
coming at me with this.
No, yeah.
Like there's something about that, like
the outside perspective,
Yep.
the fresh perspective,
how
the perspective
quickly,
of a girl you like.
Right, exactly. A perspective you're genuinely going to value more, and just how quickly they come to that conclusion. And it's great in an episode that I absolutely love. This is like a perfect scene.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
delightful.
Wait, you absolutely love this episode?
Great episode, Andrew.
Woo!
I cannot believe you were like, I don't think Dylan likes this.
I didn't know. I thought that you were going to be frustrated with Connie and Eugene, which is fair. Rightfully so.
I was. That doesn't mean
love
I
it.
dislike the episode.
That's fair.
I don't think that they're being like, my frustration is the intent of what's occurring.
Okay. That's fair.
Like, if what happened at the beginning continued and went unchecked through the rest of the episode, I'd have issues. But the episode is all about dealing with that.
Fair.
Anyways.
You make an excellent point. It's a great episode.
So, yeah, I agree. So Eugene is like, hey, would you want to come to this game show I'm doing tomorrow? And Katrina reacts and then is like, I'll be there.
Yeah, she's like, oh, yeah, I'll be there.
Which, yeah, uh-huh. And then...
Couldn't see right through that at all.
They get there, and Eugene starts trash-talking Connie.
Yeah.
Whit gets roped into being the cameraman.
Yep.
And Katrina is revealed as the third contestant.
Yeah. It's very exciting. Just the production and the Foley work for this episode with the whole game show mode bit is... I just think it's so fun. They changed the interstitial music and everything.
Yeah, but it's like a riff on the classic Odyssey Old West music, which is really weird.
A little bit. That is true.
Like anytime they do something in the Old West, you get that
grand.
you get that particular sting.
Yeah.
It goes on longer for Old West, but it is I think just a shorter version of that here. It really struck me over and over again. But I mean, John Campbell doing great work. We love him.
Love him. Yeah.
So Eugene immediately tries to get out of this because he's like, oh, I do not want to beat Katrina, which is so arrogant and is just such a mess. And
you just gotta whoop her. I mean, this is a competition, you know.
Yeah. But the arrogance of being like, I'm going to beat her.
Yeah.
So I can't
participate, so I don't beat her.
I do not see this person as an equal.
Yeah.
I am very attracted to her, but I still see myself as better than her.
Yeah. That's real yucky.
Mm-hmm.
I guess when you're a certified genius, you tend to be pretty good at trivia.
Yeah. And so we reveal that the winner is going to get $1,000, and I wrote, absolutely not a chance in my notes. I was wrong, folks. That's just going to be the theme of this episode. As Bart's doing the introductions, he refers to Connie as a full-time student, which is so bizarre. But I guess she's a high schooler at this point.
At this point, she hasn't graduated.
But also, full-time student doesn't feel like a high school. That feels very much like a college thing.
Yeah.
It's weird, but yeah. So they go around, and the first time we recap points, Connie has 13. The other two have 15. To which Eugene admits to being impressed with how well Connie's holding up.
Yeah. You are smarter than I gave you credit for, I think is what he says.
Yep.
Which is, or more intelligent. It's probably what the word he used.
Right, of course, it's Eugene.
That was the line that I quoted in the car that got the most laughs. Was I wouldn't call somebody stupid if I thought that they were of lesser intelligence or not.
So you do think I'm of lesser intelligence, Eugene? So yeah, then
Miss Kendall.
Connie, they keep playing. Next time we get a point recap, it is Eugene and Katrina are tied at 22 with Connie at 18. So she gets eliminated for the final round, and
Poor Connie.
Eugene. But I love this part too. Like, it really, I think it works well in that we get the idea that, like, it would feel disingenuous if she, like, totally kicked butt.
Yeah, exactly.
But she's doing great.
No, she's doing better, and you feel like she's proud of herself over the course of these scenes, which is, I think, what makes me like it so much, is that Connie is not feeling better because she feels like she's sticking it to Eugene, but because she feels like she's representing herself well.
Right.
And like she's actually as smart as she thinks she is.
She doesn't feel superior in the way Eugene does.
Yeah.
As a result of this. She just feels like
better about herself.
Right.
Like oh yeah, I am a person of value and intelligence.
right. And Eugene says in the scene, like, you're smarter than I ever gave you credit, which is really, really nice. So we then go into this final thing where it's showdown between Eugene and Katrina. Katrina gets the first question wrong. We earlier heard Connie get a question, or we know Connie's gotten questions wrong because she has less points. Up till this point, did Katrina get every question correct?
I have no clue. Do you know?
No, I mean, it's not there. But I will say the thing that bugs me a little bit in the trivia scene is I think that having them get in tied is cool. Like, I'm here for that. But we don't get to see... I feel like we don't see enough of Katrina doing great. Yeah.
No, that is fair.
And we don't ever see Eugene fail.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that is...
But we see him fail personally and interpersonally.
Sure. But I'm just like, you have them tied. So is it that Katrina nailed every question up to this point, or that they've both missed missed some? Because I'd like to see either of those things portrayed.
Yeah.
I would like to see Eugene miss some questions, or I'd like it established that Katrina got a perfect score.
Yeah.
Because it bugs me that, like, the time
Katrina is viewed within the lens of Eugene's intelligence from this episode.
Right, and that the only, like, the version of trivia that we see Katrina do, she flubs.
Yeah.
So, like, it goes to her in the bonus round. Bart makes this comment about her getting the money for her tuition.
Yeah.
And Katrina's like, shut up, Bart.
Yeah.
And Eugene's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I now understand what's happening here. I know why she's competing, because she needs this $1,000.
Daddy cut her off.
And so,
Screw you, Armitage.
And so Katrina gets the question wrong, which could be the 10th question she got wrong, or could be the first. We don't know. It's not well established. But she gets it wrong, and she gets it wrong in a way that doesn't look particularly good.
Yeah.
And then Eugene flubs it on purpose.
Yep.
Because he was trying to get her to win.
Yep.
And then he gets the chance to respond with the bird question. And he knows the answer, and everyone knows that he knows what this is.
And then he intentionally flubs it.
Right, he flubs it on purpose. It goes back to Katrina, who gets it wrong as well. So it's like we don't get to see Katrina get a question right.
Until the very end, where it's a do or die round.
Right. Do or die round, we get Eugene gets it wrong. On the question is, what is the color of Katrina's eyes? Which, what an insane
trivia question.
Just, this is like a wild way to try and end things, but okay. And he says brown, but they are gray. And Katrina responds that his eyes are periwinkle blue.
They're blue. They're
periwinkle blue. And they say it at the same time, and it's cute. And we stan. And then that means Katrina wins. And Eugene's like, look, you did it. You won, and it wasn't even like because I threw those questions. Like, you did it on your own. Yeah. She did not. If Eugene hadn't thrown those questions, he knew the answer to those two questions. She didn't. He could have gotten 2 more points, which would have given him the win. Yeah. No, he would have been fine. So it's frustrating. I appreciate the sentiment of this episode in this portion. Well,
Katrina does call him on it.
She does.
So, like, I don't want you to win because of your charity.
It's so good. But she does ultimately win because of his charity. Yeah. Which I think is more of a complaint about, like, the mechanics of the writing of this episode than, like, the point of the episode. And so, like, I don't think they're trying to illustrate, like, but Eugene did ultimately do it. But I think it is annoying in an episode that is, like, going out of its way to build up its female characters and knock the male ones down a peg. It's still, like, Eugene still ends up being the hero. Yeah. In a way that, like, bums me out a bit. And Yeah.
Dylan famously hates it when Eugene is the hero.
Because I think there's so much good stuff throughout this episode
I
to
agree.
illustrate that he is not the hero.
Yeah.
And then like Katrina still ends up getting the $1,000, unbelievable, because Eugene like let her get it.
Yeah, basically.
And that, I think, undermines the point of this episode, where it's like, we introduced a character who is like, oh, she's a woman, she's hot, and she's Eugene's intellectual equivalent, and she's more in tune with like emotions. Wow, well done. You gave such a great foil. And then it's like at the end, it's like, yeah, but we do have to like make sure like you still know Eugene is a little bit smarter.
Yeah, we got to make sure that the males are still the top dogs around here.
Right.
Can't be too progressive.
Right. But I will say, I had a great time with this episode.
Yeah.
And I think a huge part of that is that the characters of Eugene and Connie are both allowed to grow in this episode in a way that is not common. And to get both at once is kind of amazing. But you have Connie feeling like smart and confident and like, and great about that.
Yeah, she's feeling better about herself. Not because she's perfect like Eugene, but because she's smarter than she was before, and she's smarter than she gives herself credit for.
Yeah. And you have being like introduced, being set up as, oh, this is someone who, can actually call Eugene out.
Yeah, no, she's just as intelligent, if not more so than Eugene. Like,
She is more intelligent because
she
she has emotional intelligence.
yeah, she has emotional awareness and
But
ability to not be a terrible person.
so it's really good. There's like, it's got I have a couple weird gripes with it, but I overall really like it, and I like that we have like introduced someone to Eugene's life who will make him a better person. And I
Very
like
much
that
so.
that's set up
Yeah.
from the get-go,
Yeah.
and I'm so pumped to get to ride along this.
I'm excited to see where it goes because I don't remember it perfectly.
This train, and and we'll see how many of these I've heard. But man, it's so good.
So Dylan, I've got a handful of Odyssey trivia questions for you.
Oh, do you, Andrew?
I heard rumor that you might have some for me as
Yeah,
well.
I think I've got one or two. I didn't like build out like a very extensive trivia, but I've got some stuff I wanted to throw your way.
Okay, I've got 6 questions for you that I think that based on Wadfam Chalk Pod episodes, I think that you will be inclined to answer.
So this was also my strategy is, can I bring up stuff that we have talked about on the show and see if Andrew remembers it.
All right. So, first question. What is the current name for the album that features episode Do or Die It?
Oh boy. Do or Die It. The current name. It's not, but there's not multiple names for that one. I don't think
there's multiple names.
But I do appreciate the current name thing because it's a newer episode. Oh gosh, because it's post Novacom because we've got.
I think you're gonna get this.
Oh gosh, is it Through Thick and Thin?
That's pre-Novacom, I believe.
I don't think it is, but
That's the Chess Moves album?
yes.
No. That was my first thought when I was writing the question.
Okay.
It's actually In Hot Pursuit. So you were right.
Oh,
it's after Novacom.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
I was picturing both of those covers, you will remember, in their current iterations, are green.
True.
So that's what I'm going to use as my excuse.
No, very much so,
In
yeah.
Hot Pursuit. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, it's on In Hot Pursuit. Nice.
Yep. No, you're good. All right. This is a little slightly different.
You want to go back and forth?
Sure,
or you wanna,
sure. Yeah, you
okay.
go.
I will see if I can get these. But which is the first episode in which Will Ryan plays the character of Eugene?
It's his first, like, what's his first episode? What's the name of it?
It is an episode we've covered on the show.
Yeah. Is it the Gifts of Imagine guy?
It is not, though that episode does feature Will Ryan.
Okay.
Though he is not playing Eugene.
Okay.
It is Connie Part 1.
All right. Dylan.
Yes.
How many episodes is Mandy Strasberg in? Over, under 50. Under 50.
She is in less than 50 episodes.
Incorrect. 54.
What? She is in 54 episodes?
Yep.
Oh, my word. Okay.
Isn't that crazy?
That is absolutely insane.
All right. What's your question?
So let's do my Mandy question.
Wonderful.
Can you name one of the 3 episodes that are a Trent and Mandy romance episodes, knowing that we have covered none of them, and I desperately would like to? I knew this one was going to be hard. I was going to save it for later, but...
Is it Time Capsule Comes to Town?
A Capsule Comes to Town is not one of them, though that is on an album, for sure.
Okay.
The one you were... You want in a second guess?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. The one you were probably thinking of was A Class Reenactment, which is on album 50.
Oh, okay.
Or close to album 50.
Yeah.
But the other 2 that I would have accepted are The Present Long Ago and Mum's the Word.
That one I know. That. This episode of the Wad Fam Chalk Pod has been brought to you by beating a card table.
Beating a card table. Don't do it. It sounds bad.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So we have notoriously and repeatedly brought up the fact that In Your Wildest Dreams is the worst rated album on the wiki. What is the second worst rated album on the wiki?
Is it...
I'll accept album number 2 if you don't know the name.
I don't think I know either, but is it the album that has the Rydell Revelations on it?
No.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. What is it?
It's actually album 51, Take It From the Top, with a rating of 82%.
52. Wow. Okay.
No, 82.
Oh, 82. Okay.
I haven't... maybe this is bad trivia. Maybe I should check to see if Rydell Revelations is lower.
Well, I don't know. But that album's not called Rydell Revelations.
Yeah. It's, oh, goodness.
You said Take It From the Top is the album?
Yeah, Take It From the Top.
Interesting.
But Take It Off the Top?
No, Take It From the Top is album 51. That's what I'm confused about.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, said album 51?
Yeah.
I thought you said like album 82.
No.
I guess there isn't an 82. Okay. So it's album 51.
Yep.
Take It Off. Take It From the Top. Wild. Okay.
I got 2 more.
You got 2 more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Name one Odyssey character voiced by Corey Burton.
Count Dooku.
Yeah, see? This is why I went Odyssey character, because I was like, there's so many.
Oh, we just heard him recently in an episode. Who was he?
It's like, this is good good Odyssey trivia, or Wad Fam Chalk Pod trivia.
Is it... Does he voice Jellyfish?
Does he voice Jellyfish? The answer...
No.
He does not.
All right, give me what list of characters you got.
Oh, I mean your biggest ones. Mm-hmm. He voices Cryin' Brian Dern.
There it is.
And
I should have gotten
Shakespeare.
Wow. I can't believe I'm disappointed in myself.
But he has voiced 169 different characters throughout the show's run. So you had a lot to pick from, but but Brian Dern's the one you should have got.
Okay. So this is a deep cut. I don't know if you'll know the answer to this because I don't know if you've heard this episode of Odyssey.
Okay.
What college did Jack and Whit go to?
Oh, did they go? They went to Duke.
It's in California.
Oh, it's in California. Mm-hmm. Oh, they didn't go to Duke. Mm-mm. Why did I think Duke?
Blue lettering, I guess.
What's one place that's in Stanford's in California? Nope. Where is it?
UCLA.
Oh, okay.
It's in the triangle. Sure. They all meet out there. They go to a UCLA basketball game.
Wow. Uh-huh. Yep. I believe it.
All right, Dylan.
There are 3 years in which neither Phil Lawler nor Paul McCusker worked on the show. Name one of the 3 years. I take it back. There are 2 years.
1999.
1999 is incorrect.
Damn.
Both of them were working on the show in 99.
2010.
Also incorrect. Paul McCusker was on the show in 2010. The answers were 2003 and 2004.
Actually, I was thinking like 2002 would have been the guess that I made. Interesting. Okay, final question. What is Connie's dominant hand? She right-handed or left-handed, Dylan?
I don't know why it would be trivia if she was right-handed, so I guess she's left-handed.
There you go.
That's good. That's good.
There you go.
Proud of you. Good work.
How many wits have there been?
3.
That was one of the questions.
Was that really one of the trivia questions?
How many wits have there been?
I mean, but there's more than that if you count like the
young wits and the
right
teenage wit and such.
Yep. All right, let me see if I can come up with one last one here. Just give me a second because I did not prepare. I only prepared 4 apparently, which was dumb. But
I love trivia so much; it's so fun.
It is.
I'm terrible at it, but I love it.
It's a good time.
Oh, here's a little Odyssey trivia. Camp Whadanut is named after an Indian or Native American word, indigenous American word, meaning what?
Nope. You got me, Andrew. That's a classic. That's an album too.
Yep.
I do not know the answer.
Land that stinks like swamp.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. Oh, land that. Wait. What a nut is land that stinks like swamp?
Yeah, it's like Wanaka Titi or something. This is the horrible butchering of it. Please forgive me.
You're absolutely right. Okay, here's my final question. Mm-hmm. What do the TA in TA1 or 418 stand for?
Tasha Ambrosia. Tasha Archie Apple Architect Allegory. Tasha. Oh goodness. Please just put me out of my suffering.
It's Avery. Andrew, that was way too dramatic.
I'm mad. Of all the, I was thinking, I should have thought of Avery.
All right.
Oh, I think we've had our fun.
Yeah. We can maybe bring back trivia sometime. Maybe if we need to fill a week when we're not putting out an episode or something.
That'd be too much fun.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you so much for talking about this episode after 4 years of making a podcast and wanting to cover it.
I'm glad you finally got to say your piece here.
I'm so glad that you liked it.
Oh my word! How could you not though? Like
there have been. I mean, look, I thought that Aloha Oi. I definitely went in thinking you were going to at least find it amusing.
I'm such a sucker for. Hey, there were moments I found amusing. I think I don't know, but I'm such a sucker for like romance.
Yeah,
like it's a thing that works for me, even if it's not particularly well constructed.
No, but this one's pretty
and
good.
we've got characters that I have like deep and long affection for. So getting to see them meet was lovely.
Yeah, I can't believe you'd never seen it. Wow.
I agree.
Wonderful.
Anything you'd like to say on the way out here? Final notes or things you'd like to plug?
No final notes other than this is just a great episode. I loved it. I apologize to Alyssa and Nathan for subjecting to that in the car.
They'll never hear this.
No, probably not. Avatar 2. I plug Avatar 2. Great movie.
Plug in the way of water.
Plug in the way of water. Truth trivia in the way of water. I really liked it. Saw it in theaters. Saw it in 2D. I'd recommend seeing it in IMAX 3D if you have the resources / availability to do so. But yeah, great movie.
Big fan.
What about you, Dylan? Anything to plug?
Oh man, can I do an absolutely
go for it.
Dumb promotion?
Yes.
But okay. All right, I've got a plug for a movie. It's probably not good in like the sense that like most people would enjoy it. I had a really fun time with it. It's barely a movie, but Something from Tiffany's is a movie that came out this year. Basically,
I've heard good things.
It's on Prime.
Okay.
It's nothing particularly special, but it just like it hit me at the right time. It is. Look, I'm gonna level with you guys. It's like a pretty Christmassy movie, and we are past Christmas at this point when this episode's airing, so that's not gonna do you much good. But it's fun. So basically, the deal is Amazon went and they got. Essentially, they were like, "What if we did a elevated Hallmark movie?" And so they hired someone who writes Hallmark movies, and they hired this guy who's got a really good like directorial style, and they hired Zoe Deutsch as their lead.
Okay.
And they made a movie that just is like, look, I'm going to level with you. I have not seen Hallmark movies, so I do not know, and I could be wrong.
I've seen many.
But it feels like it is just as like trite and obvious as those movies.
Yeah.
But it like looks good. The actors are really charming. And it just like it worked for me.
Was it like relatively well written?
Like it's very predictable. Like there are no surprises in this movie aside, I will say, the opening scene is great.
There you go.
Opening scene is great. There's some really nice camera work. It's got just like the whole thing looks good. The performances are solid. And
the jokes okay? Do they hit?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you laugh a couple of times. It's not. Yeah, it is.
I've watched a lot of Hallmark movies.
It is so absolutely like. It's such an absolutely like milquetoast recommendation.
That's fair.
But I did have a good time with it, and I was thinking about it with this, and just like we're talking about a romance episode.
Yeah,
that's something I watched recently.
Definitely.
It's
more romantic than that's not
Way of Water. Pretty hot.
Well, I wasn't gonna. It's a very hot movie.
No,
not a lot of romance.
No, romance more in the original Avatar than in this one. But yeah,
but not nearly as many avatars swimming underwater for extended periods of time.
Such a pretty movie.
So pretty.
All right. We got to get out of here.
Love you. Bye.
So, oh no, I gotta figure out. I gotta pull up the schedule because I don't have it.
What are we covering next, Dylan?
Yeah, I'll let you know in just a second, Andrew. Gotta open up Google Sheets.
Gray spotter wedding dress.
That's absolutely insane.
I'm angry.
So that's all for this one, folks, and we will be back next week for episode 260. Naturally, I assumed.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Wadfam Chalk Pod is a presentation of the Lidditz Podcast Co-op. This show is a fan podcast and has no official affiliation with Adventures in Odyssey or Focus on the Family. As such, the copyright is ours under Creative Commons. Follow the podcast at wadfamchalkpod on Twitter and Instagram, or email us at wadfamchalkpod@gmail.com. Truth, Trivia, and Trina was hosted by Dylan Weaver and Andrew Acebo, and edited by Dylan Weaver. And I'm Nathan Haverstick, hoping you'll join us again next time for more of the Wad Fam Chalk Pod.